I was invited to Zenimax Online Studios, if you haven't seen the video, with some quick clips and photos, as you know, so I got to actually preview Elseweyr, and finally I am allowed to talk about it. Something that I really wanted to talk about is actually not even has to do with the upcoming chapter Elseweyr. This is part of the base game update. As you may know, I am actually a guild master of Lone Wolf Help. It is a guild in ESO that has been going strong since 2014. As you can see, I'm here online on a Sunday morning at about 7 AM, so we don't have too many people online, but definitely a big guild, busy, lots of events, and it's always tough trying to manage a guild. Back in May 2017, I actually wrote up a forum post titled Guild, Problems, Solutions, and What We Need. Now, I had a couple different issues that I covered along with possible solutions, and one of the issues I had was that new players cannot find guilds. Other than zone chat, there's zero way for players to find a guild in ESO. Now, they are rectifying this. They are finally adding a guild finder inside of the game. Now, I really enjoy that they've done pretty much exactly what I wanted. I set a UI search for guilds, random option your UI, a way to search for them, search by type, search by language, etc. Now, this is just one of the many things that I think guilds could use to have some improvements seen in them, but I'm really excited to explain more about how this feature is going to work in the upcoming chapter. Most of what I show you today is going to be what is currently in game with a little bit of B-roll from Elseweyr, but unfortunately it will not show the tool itself. I wasn't allowed to actually take screenshots and whatnot to show you now when I was at Zenimax, so I'm just going to have to explain to you, and you'll have to envision with me what is going on here. When you're in your guild window, you'll notice you have all the different options up here. There's going to be a new one that is going to be a Recruitment Tab. Now, the Recruitment Tab is for people who are actually managing the guild. That is how they are going to go ahead and list their guilds. Once you actually get to the different sections, so for example, let's just click ranks. Now, imagine this was the recruitment section. Along the side here, you'd actually have a couple different options. You would have the option of guild listing, applications, and blacklist. Now, under guild listing, you would be able to choose whether you want to list your guild or not in the guild finder. If you have a really tight-knit community, a very small guild, maybe it's only for you and your real-life friends, you do not need to list your guild, and it's actually the default to not have your guild listed. Now, if you do choose to list your guild, that is where you will find everything that you can edit for your listing. The things you'll be able to select to have in your guild listing is your primary focus. This will allow you to select from a drop-down trading, social, role-playing, PvP, questing, crafting, or group PvE. Then there's also another drop-down with a secondary focus with all those same options, as well as none. Maybe you're super focused on one item. Then there's a bunch of checkboxes with additional activities. Here you can check as many as you like for additional activities your guild partakes in. Trading, dungeons, housing, role-playing, fishing, PvP, trials, questing, crafting, justice. And then we have yet another option, roles. This is probably more important if you're an endgame guild, maybe a PvP guild, but this displays the same icons that you actually find right here. You'll notice how you have your tank, healer, and damage icon in the group and activity finder. You will be able to select what roles you're after, what you're looking for your guild. In the guild window for your listing, you'll also be able to state the minimum champion points that you expect members to have. Of course, playstyle. Casual, balanced, or hardcore. This is really helpful to give people a true idea of how you can expect the guild to be. Language. Maybe not as important on the North American server as it is on the EU server, but you will be able to select from all the officially supported languages as well as other in case your guild is one of the languages that the game is not officially supporting. Then there is 2 drop downs with a core hours. So your start and your end time, you do fill this out in your local time. This is when your guild is the busiest. This is when you have the most hustle and bustle, when your events are planned around, so that you don't end up joining a guild that's dead all the time when you log in, because maybe you're like me right now and it's 7 a.m. on a Sunday morning. There's not many people on in Lone Wolf Help, but that's because we're more an evening guild, kind of around the Eastern time zone. So we wouldn't want someone who right now is their prime time to try to join, because unfortunately there wouldn't be a lot going on for them. Now, when you're actually looking for a guild, you can actually just open up the guild window. If you're on PC, you press G. You can open it up, and if you're in no other guilds, this screen will automatically be the guild finder. That's beautiful, brilliant. Allows people to find guilds. If you are already in at least one other guild, you'll need to use the drop down at the top here, and in between your guilds and instructions for creating and joining guilds, you'll actually have an option to view the guild finder. In the guild finder itself, you will be able to search for all those items that you just heard me say that you can list in your guild. Now, there is also some additional filters. You can filter also by alliance. This is obviously very important for PvP. You could also filter by active members. So this would be how many members have been active in the guild, therefore have logged into the game in the last 30 days. This is helpful if you're looking for a super busy trading guild, or maybe you prefer a quieter, smaller guild. You'll want to choose, a lower number of active members. I did get to speak to some of the devs at Zenimax Online Studios, and my concern was that it's always going to show the same couple guilds at the top of the list when you're searching a specific set. They said that there is some wizardry behind the scenes that will make sure you're not always finding those same 5 guilds. Obviously, if you search them once, twice, 3 times, you're not joining them, maybe the game needs to offer you up some different options. Once you have found a guild you're interested in, you're just going to need to click it and hit apply. You can send them a little note with more information. You can even set up a default note to always send when you apply for guilds. I'm not quite sure how useful that default note is, but you can put in a little tidbit about why you want to join the guild, and the person who is reviewing your application will be able to see that. Now, how do you find out that someone applied for your guild? Well, in-game, there's already a notification system, and this is how it's going to notify you, if you're a guild master or possibly an officer with the correct permissions, that someone has applied to your guild. You'll get a notification, you'll click it, you will be able to see some information about that person who is applying. You are going to be able to see the applicant's user ID, their level, which includes champion points, how long until the application expires, which by the way is 15 days from the start, and if you hover over the name of the applicant, you're going to see their class, alliance, achievement points, and that little note or message that they gave. Now, for the class, alliance, and achievements points, I didn't actually double check this, but I'm going to assume it's your most recently logged on character, though it could be the character that they were on when they applied for your guild. From there, you'll just be able to choose if you would like to approve or deny this person, and they will be sent an invite if you approve them. Another thing that'll be in the new recruitment section of your guild window will be a blacklist. That means you now have the ability to blacklist people from your guild. So what does blacklisting someone do? Well, it makes it so that blacklisted person cannot find your guild in guild search and cannot be invited to the guild by anyone, even the guild master. Now, it's worth noting that if someone does try to invite a blacklisted member, their screen will tell them up in the corner here that the invite has been sent, but the blacklisted member will just never receive it. This could lead some people to thinking their invites are bugged, but it's a fine line between that and allowing people to know who is blacklisted. If you want to blacklist someone, you do not need to kick them from the guild first. You can just go ahead into the roster, right-click their name, blacklist a person. It'll automatically evict them from the guild and add them to the blacklisted list. Now, I mentioned there are some new permissions that are very useful to go along with all these new systems for the guild finder, this blacklist and whatnot. So when you go into ranks, and you're going to find some new permissions. One is going to be manage applications. In order to give someone the manage applications rank permission, they must have permission to invite members. Makes sense. Another thing that you'll notice, a new permission, is manage blacklist. In order to be able to manage the blacklist, the rank needs to have the ability to remove members. Now, by default, only the guildmaster, I believe, has these, so don't worry about your officers going a little hog wild to begin with. But it definitely might be useful to allow officers to do some of that, legwork for you. It will be handy. Your blacklist, you can see a list of who was blacklisted, so if anybody's wrongly blacklisted, it's really easy to go back and undo it. And as well, the notification system actually works really well with multiple people gaining a notification at the same time to either approve or deny an application. So it makes this whole process of finding a guild, joining a guild, or finding members for your growing guild a lot more seamless. If you have any questions about the upcoming guild finder or guild listing features in Elsweyr, go ahead and leave comments below. I tried to dig into that system as much as I could because it definitely interested me. So I would love to hear your comments and on what your thoughts are on it, as well as if you have any questions. If you're looking for a more written style guide, go ahead to my website, MissBizzPlays.com. I do have a written guide with some drawn on pictures and screenshots for you to check out about the guild finder coming in Elder Scrolls Online Elsweyr. Just to be clear, you do not need to own the chapter to access this tool. It will be part of the base game. Thanks for joining me. Bye for now.